Hello, 8th graders, and welcome to virtual/blended learning. Today, we're going to be talking about graphing using slope-intercept form. And our objective for today's students will be able to graph a linear line, and linear just means straight, using slope-intercept form. So remember that slope-intercept form is y equals mx plus b, where m is what? The slope, and what is b? The y-intercept. So we're going to use the slope and the y-intercept and what we know about slope-intercept form to graph a line. Okay, so the first thing that we're going to do whenever we graph a line is we're going to start at our y-intercept, which remember that's b. So we're going to start at b, whatever our y-intercept is, and then we're going to use the slope to move from our y-intercept. And remember that slope is m. So we're going to start at our y-intercept, and then we're going to use our slope to tell us how to move. And then make sure that your line goes in the correct direction. So positive, make sure that it's going upward from left to right. If it's negative, make sure that it's going downward if we look left to right. And remember that negative needs to make an N, right? So those are all ways that we're going to check to make sure that our line is correct, that we graphed it correctly. So our first one says to graph the line y equals 2x minus 5. So if I use y equals mx plus b, I can see that my slope then will be my y-intercept then will be -5, and my slope is 2. So if my slope is -5, that's where I'm going to start. So b tells us where we begin, okay, which is our y-intercept. So a y-intercept is of -5. I'm going to go down to -5 on my y-intercept and then plot my first point. And then my slope, which is m, is going to tell me how I move. So my slope here is 2. And remember that I can write that as a fraction. So if my slope equals 2, that's the same thing as 2 over 1, right? Because 2 divided by 1 is still 2. So anytime you have a whole number, just put that over 1. And remember, our slope is rise over run. So how many times am I going to rise from this point? 2. And then how many am I going to run? 1. So I go up 1, 2, and I go over 1. And then I can continue doing that up 2 over 1, up 2 over 1. And I can continue that, and I can even go down 2 and over 1. Now, I connect my points to create, oh, wow, that was really bad. Let's try it again. Okay. I connect my points to create a nice straight line, like so. And then after I have that, does this represent a positive line? Yes, it does, because it's going upward, and my slope was a +2, so that's a way that I can check myself. Now on this one, I have graphed the line y equals -1/4 x plus 3. So remember, I have y equals mx plus b. And so m in this case, or my slope that's going to tell me how to move, is -1/4. And my y-intercept is what? It's 3. So my slope is -1/4 and my y-intercept is 3. So where do I begin at? I'm going to begin at 3 on my y-axis. So I just go up 3. Now, I have my slope that's going to tell me how to move from my y-intercept is -1/4. So remember that my negative line needs to look like this, right? That's my negative line. So I need to make sure that as I graph my points that it looks like that. So I can go up 1 and to the left 4, right? And then I can go up 1 and to the left 4 again, or I could go down 1 and to the right 4. So, and then I can connect my points, and this is going to be really, really bad. Really, really bad. Okay, so then in theory, I made a nice straight perfect line. And if I want to check myself, if I do this, does it make an N? Yes, it does, because an N, capital N. So it is negative. And my slope was -1/4, so it does match. And then I just make sure, I'm at 3 on my y-axis. So those are all ways that you can check to make sure that you graphed it correctly. And for our last example, it says to graph the line y equals negative 5x plus 6. So I have y equals mx plus b. So where am I going to begin at? What's the first point that I'm going to plot here? I'm going to plot 6 because that's my y-intercept, and that tells me where to begin at. So I go to 6, positive 6 on my y-axis, and that is my first point. And now what is my slope? My slope is negative 5. And how do I make that into a fraction? I just put it over 1. So my slope is negative 5 over 1. And notice that it's negative. So again, it needs to be going downward. So again, that's my rise over run. So I can go up 5 and over 1 or down 5 and over 1. Because remember, this is my vertical and this is my horizontal. So whether I rise or go down, it's all talking about your vertical distance. So I can't really go up 5 because my graph doesn't go that high. So I'm going to go down 5. And then would I go left 1 or right 1 in order for it to be a negative line? I'm going to go to the right one because, like I said, I need it to be a negative line. So then I go down 5 and then right 1 again. And I can continue that cycle. So just make sure that our slope is correct. So we go down 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 over 1. Down 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 over 1. And we connect our lines. And that was really bad. Let's try that one again. Still not perfect, but that's okay. So, and does this line show a negative? It's more steep, but you can still make that into the end, and it's still going downward if we look left to right. So it does show a negative line, and we do have our y-intercept of 6. So is this line graphed correctly? Yes, it is.